fellow Earthlings. This is Dave and another thing with Dave. In this episode, we're going to continue our conversation with the collective. Thanks for tuning in.
Somewhat of a Renaissance man, you know? What you been up to?
Same, man. I watched an amazing documentary last night, speaking of which, about the history of the Native American people and how now, we keep updating history as we find new shit, right? So they found some rock paintings in, I believe it was New Mexico. Oldest paintings on Earth now.
Really? Carbon dated?
Yeah.
They carbon dated things?
No, but they did it by approximation and cultural mythological stories and this and that, and then dating the civilization that was there and approximating the time. But it's pretty fascinating, man. They're saying that Native American history is now more like 1 million years old.
1 million years old.
And
can you imagine it? We'll never see that in our lifetime. 1 million years old. When they were talking about Yale being 900 years old, my head popped.
Yeah.
But 1 million years old.
Yeah, try to comprehend that. And they were saying, and here's the mind blower, dude. All tribes descended from one original tribe, one original peoples that came down from Alaska.
A lot of that makes sense, you know, and I think about this because we all took that swim out of a dick hole, you know? And people forget that. All this stuff going on, and you see everyone crowding around and being happy and joyful and sad and unsure. But every species on this planet with some information came from small humble beginnings. The genitalia of it. Right now, we're carrying a nation of people in our sacks. Isn't that amazing? It fucking blows me away, man. Think about this. We're running and jumping and sweating and sitting them down, playing games and playing football and running up the street, going to coffee and riding in our cars. We're carrying the fucking future.
The whole generation.
God, look around us.
Millions.
All these big people. All these people sitting there, oh, I'm this person, I'm that person, this person. And I'm sitting there like, you're swinging between my legs right now. If I release you under the right conditions.
You're sitting on them.
Holy cow.
I could release you onto the floor and kill you so that you're never born.
You're never born. Or, I mean, people, we have to smile about this thing, you know?
And we think we're badass because this country's been here like 200 years. Trips me out that we don't appreciate older cultures more, you know, like
it's forgotten. It's like this thrown away. It's not valuable, isn't it? Something. And
yeah, man.
Now, when you think about it, it does become valuable because you're like, wait a minute, what did you see before you go? Maybe not the before you go part, but hey,
we're still trying to figure out how we got here, man. Like, fuck.
Are you kidding me? Holy shit!
You know. Like, I hope we didn't blow up the secret of human evolution, like somewhere in Iraq. You know? Oldest fucking history of civilization right there. The Tigris and Euphrates River, man.
Yeah. We planted some tomatoes. I got some tomatoes in the garage right now. And I said, I got some tomatoes in the garage and I got some spermazoa. What? Just waiting under the right circumstances to be put into soil. And here we are.
Bam.
And then we leave. Who's to say that we're having this conversation right now unless they happen to find this transmission and say, you know what? These guys were talking about something. And if it's a time where they're not into using the English language as we have put it together, can you imagine trying to figure this out and then saying, this is for sure how they were thinking. This is for sure how it was. And you and I know that it was something different.
I think they're going to look at like mathematics and music are like, well, this is the way I look at it. Those are like universal languages, right? So I think another species could communicate with us with mathematics or with music, right? But they might hear some of our cheesy ass music and be like, what the fuck were you guys trying to say to us? Right? Like,
Exactly.
they
So
hear
it's
some
like
fucking village people or something and they're like, that was their message? Like what?
they're writing the Bible. It's like they're writing their Bible off of our conversation right now, and they know exactly what you're doing, and exactly what I was doing. They'd be missing all
Right.
kind of shit because I'm sitting right now. Let me guess what you're doing. You guess what I'm doing.
Yep.
That's gonna
Like,
be
no,
something
dude,
else.
I want to send the aliens like some Curtis Mayfield, some Ray Charles.
Some Curtis Mayfield. Yeah,
Like, this is music,
they'll be like, "What in the heck? That's all right."
you know?
Take me to your DJ.
Take me to your DJ. Do not make me destroy you.
You remember that cartoon, Marvin the Martian?
Oh yeah.
Freeze before I neutralize you with my P-35 regulator.
I used to love that shit.
I mean, and then it had so many different spins on it, but
Oh
because
yeah.
as when it first came out, it was so raw and adult oriented, and then they like watered it down. I was like, oh, you guys took the funny out of it,
Right.
But
Marvin, he was a player at first.
yeah.
I am getting some Earth bitches. Your women are so easy.
Hand me the XXXXXXXX prophylactic out of your convenience store.
Yeah, exactly.
And a pack of smokes.
Right.
I must manufacture my own condom. Yours are too small.
You see that? Oh, man. See.
No, motherfucker, look at the label. It says made in China, dog. Come on.
I need mine made from Uranus.
Oh, shit.
You mean I'm a planet?
Oh, that's good.
You have so much to learn.
You can be planted, yes.
Heavens to Murgatroids.
That's it, man. Yeah, exactly. If anybody's looking down at us, they're like, "Yeah, let's come back in another million years, see if any intelligent life's developed."
A million years. That's hard to quantify, man. We're sitting there right here, just thinking about this candle burning. We're
dog. Do you think we should go populate Mars, like Elon Musk thinks, or do you think we're better off dying here before we bring our cancer to another planet?
You know what? I'd say that same thing in the middle of a TED talk and then light a cigarette.
Bam.
Yeah.
Right? Snap. That's a good point. Dude, that would be brilliant.
Take them down there and you're looking vibrant and healthy, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of that, and that nail exactly what you said at that point there. I think everybody would really think about that because, boy, we have our iniquities, man. We got a lot of angst, things that are going on with us that just, do we want to really take it to another planet? Is it going to make a difference? You know what we're doing at the ego. It's like, okay, so we're going to get up there with the way we are on another planet. What the hell?
That's what I'm thinking. It's ego, baby. Exactly. You fucking nailed it. Because if we can't get our shit straight on this planet, fighting amongst ourselves on this tiny little rock flying through space with this limited amount of resources that we got. I mean, the planet will take care of us all if we just quit fucking with each other, right? But we can't do that. And we're going to bring this party to another rock? I don't think so.
Oh, man, you got to do some stand-up. We're going to bring this party to another rock?
Right?
Oh,
exactly.
Because it's fucking tribalism.
Oh,
fucking
shit. Juanito,
monkeys
my brother,
that
you're
fucking
back.
hate each other.
Hey,
Our
and we're
brother
gonna bring this
Juanito's
party to
back.
another rock. That's 2021 right there.
That's it,
Holy
right?
shit! Is that original, man?
Yeah.
That's good
Just
shit.
came up with it. Just came out of
Write
the
it down.
conversation, dude.
Let's put it out there. Who the hell's talking
Why
shit?
did you talk over my goddamn recording, goddammit?
And we're gonna bring this party to another rock.
You like that one. We heard you, Juanito, brother. I was so excited to see you chiming in. You're back, dude.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Right on.
Juanito. I'm glad you're back, bro.
Yes.
So
We're
what do you
sitting here
think,
talking to-
Juanito? Should we fucking should we let ourselves die on this here planet, or should we bring the party to another rock and fuck it up?
Yeah, man. When I used to say, "Get me off this fucking planet," I didn't know that was going to become an eventual option.
And you
Well,
want to take
you got
this
$1
party
million,
to another
dog. You could
rock?
buy a ticket. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm fucking laughing my ass off here and shit. That's so original and good. That's so good. I like original shit, man. Because eventually it comes out there, you know. But that's what Elon Musk is kind of about in his way, and so many others. George Carlin, old school comedian. Them guys are abrasively funny, man. Shit. But it made you think, you know.
You gotta think.
What are you talking about? You having a drink and you fucking beating your wife down here and you want to take this party to another rock?
You can't even not beat your wife over there in the front row. How are you gonna get along with your neighbor on another planet?
Oh, shit. Man.
We're a fucked up animal, man.
Yeah, we are, man.
Maybe that's what Revelations was talking about when it was saying that 100,000 something people would leave Earth through the sky and go back to God. They weren't going back to God. They were leaving this shithole of a planet.
They're not stopping for a moment and saying, you know what? I burned my hand in the fire one time before, and that was a lesson. Wrote it down. Someone wrote that down. Someone made the observation. It's true. It's fact. And then they go to do it again. Or they heap that onto someone else until it gets to that place where it's something that it was a gift, part of our life, to be able to use for whatever capacity, and we stop burning ourselves up or hurting others or damaging things that shouldn't be damaged, then eventually, like I was talking to a guy earlier about working the land till it was dead, we will end
Yep.
up in that place, or we potentially could end up in that place. They were talking about this documentary I was watching yesterday about 60 possible farming years left. 60. I said, 60? Holy shit. He goes, the way
Well,
the ecosystem is, with everything going on from the bees, you know, to the whole food chain, pretty much is what he was talking about, being disrupted. I said,
yeah.
It could be 60 years and we'd be dealing with something that would be hard to reverse because the universe, or excuse me, our ecosystem is designed to replenish itself. And when we work this, and eat the animals and kill the ground so there's no nutrients in it with these pesticides, which started back 45 or something years ago.
Right around the end of World War II,
yeah. It puts us in this dangerous place. So when they started in the 70s and 80s to try and turn it around, it's up to us now in the 2000s to be mindful of this, because it's still showing that we're in that projection to damage everything. So getting off the planet, going to what we're talking about, is something we shouldn't be thinking about. We should be trying to heal what we have here, let alone taking this party to another rock.
Yeah, because you can't just keep jumping to another rock and laying sod and then spraying fucking pesticide on that sod, right? You can't do it. You know, maybe we ought to think about how we're living, right?
You get that,
you know, you think, like fucking Roundup, dude. Like, what did they tell us? We got about 12 years to stop catastrophic global warming feedback loops, right?
Man,
12
unbelievable.
years.
12
12 years to stop that shit. So what you're
Facts.
talking about, dude, you in less now, like 10, right? Because I'm that was a long time ago they mentioned that. But what you mentioned made me think of the most important thing, I think, for humanity is regenerative. We need to change the way we do agriculture 100%. We need regenerative agriculture where you leave the land better than you found it.
Exactly. And that was that show on, there was a show where the gentleman mentioned that on Amazon or Netflix. I was watching, and he mentioned regenerative, and I said exactly, because when I grew up on a farm, we had things in place to be able to work the soil, and it wasn't, that much chemical use.
So they're making lab grown food that has the same nutrients as actual meat and vegetables and fruits and shit. And then I think it would help if like half the planet went to Mars. So yeah, we should work on getting to Mars.
Juanito, maybe we just grind up half the population and make them into fertilizer for the feed the soil, huh? Maybe that's what our military is doing, and they're just not telling us.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
That is something else. That is something else. That all this is these souls.
Right.
As sure as we come from these humble beginnings, human beings could do what we're doing, and they want to take the same mindset, because no matter where we go, there we are. We're taking ourselves there, our mindset there.
Thank you. And that's what I'm talking about is our mindset ain't right.
Cancer is
it ain't right. It's a cancer. We have a cancer of the mind right now.
Going any place else with this cancerous toxic mind
would be pure ego, right?
Yeah.
That would be
Soylent Green is people. Soylent Green is people.
Exactly, Juanito. You got it. We could fucking, I don't know, tons of free dog food. We could fucking re-nutrify the soil,
You know what the killer was? The guy yesterday was showing how his neighbor's land was dirt. His land was like vibrant and green. And when he picked up the soil and he showed it under a microscope, all of the organic matter, all the life, it was alive, in other words.
Beautiful living organic matter.
He said, "See my neighbors?" He was standing on his property and looking at his neighbor's property. And I was like, wow. And then I started saying for a second, I'm watching this show. Did he ever think, and I know it's not his responsibility, but being mindful as he was, did he ever think to go to his neighbor and say, hey, you know what? I got a plan for this,
Right.
Because I'm sure they were probably figuring it out, but I was like, that's something to add into the gumbo. We have to,
because that's the next step, right? It's one thing to do the right thing in your own space, but then we got to spread it.
Yep.
Right.
Regeneration X, baby. I had to say it again because you talked over my shit.
Love you, Juanito. Regeneration X. Exactly. And that's very clever because I'm talking about regenerative agriculture and I'm Generation X and I'm taking it your Generation X too. So that's pretty fucking clever, Juanito.
Yep. Regeneration X should be the mantra they tout out there. I have to get on. Be good.
Well, yeah, man. To me, there's no more serious topic because what are we talking about? Just survival of. That's all.
There was a movie called Time Machine, and Time Machine, when they got to this one point, I've seen versions of people going to the future and in the past, but this particular movie stood out because when the guy got on Time Machine and he fell asleep or something to that effect, it'll come to me in a minute, he fast forward way into the future and he woke up. When he woke up, his circle bubble was on the edge of the someplace, and he got out of it, and he walks, and he's like, "Where the hell am I at?" In his mind, you can kind of see it was a crazy looking place, and people were living in pods on the side, like dirt dabblers. We call them dirt dabblers on the side of the everybody was living now on the side of what was left of the earth that was around.
Yeah.
I said
Wow.
that is crazy. I mean, in these pods, and if you ever seen those, they're like the flying insects that collect dirt and they stick to the side of the house or in the rafters and things
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said that's where they kind of got that from. But in the movie, it was interesting to have them depict that because, again, the toxic mind, and it was passed
Yeah.
on for generations to the point to where that's how they had to survive. And whatever creature was around, or conditions, let's put it that way, in total, they
Right.
had to adapt. Was it
Whatever you
good?
got to deal with.
Yeah. You
Right?
got a chance to
What
go
kind of
back, and I
soil
said,
you
wouldn't that
got?
suck?
Fuck yeah. Can you imagine how much soil you get, how much rainfall every year? Oh
All right.
God. We got Juanito and tripolar. That's awesome. I'm
God is
bipolar.
energy. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And
That's
brought
it.
to you by Stereo. Oh, man.
Stereo, the app where you can have a conversation with anybody.
Watch yourself now and make sure you shave with Gillette razors. Get that hair off your face.
Careful down there. Oh shit. Ow, Mom!
Got it cut? Hey, use Peter Pan peanut butter.
Shit.
Peter Pan peanut butter
And
helps you.
cut.
Stick to the fucking script, you son of a. Oh, I'm tired of this. I'm a truck driver. What the hell am I doing dialogue? Because
You
it's
said you grew up on a farm?
yeah, we did agriculture for a while, dairy farming, and we're always trying to better the environment as well as get our crops to market. Full run dairy farm with chickens and horses and cows and stuff like that, jerseys.
Oh, the whole nine.
Yeah, man, it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. And when I seen that documentary, it just kind of took me back. I was thinking, most people don't think about someone getting a hamburger through the drive-through or a can of corn. What's going on with that?
No, they don't. And I think that's a real problem because and it's becoming more and more important that people learn this message every day because we're getting our food from so far away, right? Like you can get an orange from Chile, right? So that orange traveled what, a fucking 1,000 miles, 3,000 miles to get to us. And this one documentary I saw broke it down into calories, like, right, the calories of oil and gas that it takes to transport it, and then the calories that the food actually has that you get in it. And it's like 100 to 1. We're spending more money getting the calories than we actually get calories.
Exactly.
So totally not sustainable. We need to grow our food close to where we live. And then you get better food, fresher food, more variety.
I was saying, we gave our power away and it was backed by the government. I said, how in the
Yep.
heck did we get to this place when we needed it? Now, during the pandemic, everybody can realize what really matters if they're embracing the moment, because we shouldn't have to run out and get toilet paper or potatoes too far away. Water and air is right here, and resources. If we take those thoughts that we have for the things that we want to create and try to plan and put them out into action, we'll realize that near us than farther away. And then what we're doing near will help us farther away. And that was one point they brought up, and I generalized that, how everything is connected. They said, you realize the roots over here touch something miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away. And I said, I'm glad that that guy expressed it very simply like that, because that is true. If I sneeze here 7,000 miles away, that is affecting somebody else. I may not be able to see that, but this is what it is. That's how it works.
Absolutely. There's
That's
a
all the greenhouse
fantastic
gases and all that. And I said, yeah, hell yeah, that's too deep for a lot of people. I mean, we can really expound upon that whole thought. But very simply, yes, So think about what we're able to do if we were to do the things we need to do for ourselves in a micro
Mm-hmm.
way. Then
Mm-hmm.
in a macro way, the things would take place that would all come together, hopefully. We just monitor it,
That's it.
monitor the process. Great,
That's it.
great times.
What you were saying about one thing changing, like have you ever seen the movie The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah, sure did.
There,
Not too
there
long
it
ago, as a
is,
matter of
dude.
fact. Yep.
In a nutshell, exactly what you're talking about. One fucking little change can have numerous effects downline that you never even comprehended. Exxon doesn't pay taxes. Fucking Amazon doesn't pay taxes. You and I pay taxes.
Yeah, it's they got a game going on. There's a hell of a chess game going on. But I did it because they started bartering and trading. It was bartering and trading, figuring that out. And then they had said,
Yep.
okay, once we said, all right, we're going to use this to lean on, the precious minerals and what have you, resources. Then they had to figure that out. And then it just got to, okay, well, certain people had the lion's share of whatever it was in the deal, the game pieces. So
That's it.
as people were creating people, then it became more complicated because the people that weren't here prior to the ones that have through the wars and the taking and all that, how do you get them so they can get a fair shake, so to speak? And then people in power maintain their position, power being that they had the resources most of the time. Dreams can come true. But I guess what we were talking about, and now I'm not discounting that, what you said there, a lot of the wars and people taking money from others, it wasn't really money, it was the resources. So it wasn't just a
Thank you.
dollar, it was resources.
Thank you.
So whoever led the lions, and this is all over the globe, and then you break it down, you break it down into its sub chunks or whatever you want to call it. And they got to figure it out because it starts to say, "Oh well, I got this little bit. I should share it." Well, you clean around my house, and I'll give you some of what I got. And then that person, now we get to that point where that person says, "Okay, you have something, and I want to do more. What do I do?" And then hopefully they can get into that whole groove of finding like-minded other people that want their product or create value of some sort. But it
Create
is
value. I
tough.
think that's what it's
Tough.
about in our day and age. Create value, right? But it's tough
Uber had it.
because
Uber was one of those companies. I got a couple of them that I constantly think about. I like their stories, but Uber was one of those companies where they found people that didn't give a shit. They said, "We're tired of these damn taxis," and they said, "Where can I spend my money elsewhere?" And when they talk about getting investors, family, they didn't need somebody that was established because the people were pissed off. They were like, when they went in the White House, they were like, "Where are you at? You want to do what? Hell yeah, here you go, boom!" And they got, what is it, $60 billion? $60 billion? That's a hell of a
startup coin.
wow. Man, they blew everybody out of the water. That's something. Because the people in that case, it wasn't the rich, it wasn't the poor, it was everybody saying, "Yeah, we're sick of this." And that, like J.K. Rowling with her book, is kind of rare, but that's where that's kind of that place in the base. But
That
the people
perfect
on the
time and the
top,
perfect place. Yeah.
the people on the top, man, them guys were, like the Mars family and the Kennedys and all these other companies. I mean, excuse me, families. They were, there was more and they were less, and they had the lion's share, and it just, man, their games were sick too. Some of them with their gins. Back in the Prohibition, I think the Kennedys had something to do with alcohol and all that. Back in
Oh yeah, the Kennedys made their
yeah.
money running rum during Prohibition.
So many.
Right? The Bush family made their money smuggling cocaine.
So if we happen to be born later, hopefully our chance meeting brushing with one of the Kardashians, and after they've thinned out, we can say, "Hey,
right?
can you buy? I've created a toilet. Can you buy our toilet from us?" Maybe we're trading apples, for crying out loud, and they're saying, we'll pay you a fart cloud for a half an apple. Get out of my face.
You know what somebody needs to create for them for two reasons: because they got some big asses in that family, and because the United States needs a goddamn bidet. Somebody
nice
needs
bidet.
to create the Kardashian bidet. Right? Like you could call your Cadillac model the Kardashian. It'll even wash that ass.
And Donald Trump
It'll get
almost
all
did
them
too.
funky
You know how
nuggets
many
out of
back
there.
issues he has? Jesus fucking Christ.